Yeah. So today I want to talk about pain. And it's definitely related to emotions. So I'll talk about that a little bit more also. So within our body, there's this pain and pleasure system. It is the same exact system. So the pain part of this system is very, very necessary for survival, um, even if you don't like it. And let me explain why. So, if we did not have this pain system, part of the pain pleasure system, then we wouldn't make it this far as human beings. We would die rather early. Because imagine if you were hungry, but you don't feel hunger at all. You wouldn't be motivated to go and find food. So you'll just let your body starve because you don't even feel that pain of hunger. So the system is very necessary for survival, and it's there to motivate us to either relieve the pain, somehow, or in other cases we would avoid certain situations because of this pain. And in other situations, we need to learn to overcome this pain so that we can grow. And so let me talk through a couple different examples. So in certain situation, we want to move towards that pain and try to overcome this pain. For example, when we work out, let's say you're doing some bench press, let's say, or some squats. Each time you do that motion, you are in pain. That is pain. As much or as little it may be, it is pain. And if you willingly do this, you put yourself through this, your muscle will grow. And that's how muscles grow. You work it, and the more you work it, the stronger it gets. Well, you'd have to increase the repetition or the weight that you're doing in order for it to grow stronger, but that is the way that you would make your muscles grow. This is the same mechanism to grow mentally as well. So, for example, most of us have a fear of public speaking. This fear is a form of pain. And most of us would avoid public speaking because it is very uncomfortable to feel this, because it is a pain and we don't like to feel the pain. But if you wanted to get better at public speaking, there's no other way to get better at it except to face that pain and practice public speaking. And there are other situations where we would want to avoid the pain. Let's say you're riding a bike and you had let's say you fell off the bike. So your mind and body is going to register that, and it's going to remember that event. Your mind's going to remember, hopefully, like exactly how you fell. And then your body is going to remember that pain, so that next time you face the same situation, this pain will come up, and it will cause you to be more careful. So basically, it comes down to the mechanics is like this. You face a life event, and your mind and body, using skills, knowledge, and experience, will decide what to do with it. Okay? And if it's a new situation and it's scary, and you have no way of, or you don't have the skills or the experience to deal with it, you're naturally going to avoid it. And for example, I was bullied as a kid, and this is actually a trauma that gets registered inside of your mind and body. So other people have different traumas as well, and it works the same way. So when I'm faced with the bullying situation, so this is a life event that is external to me, right? I faced this bully, and at the time, let's say the kid is a lot older than me, a lot bigger than me, I'm not able to fight back. And I know I can't fight back. And so at that moment, your mind will automatically try to figure out, like, what options do you have? You either fight, flight, or freeze, right? And if you're in that situation, you're not going to be able to use your mind at all. You're going to get into this automatic mode where you're going to have to react. And if there's nothing in your skills or experience that prepared you for that, then in that situation, I ran away. And let's say, at first I ran away, but the kid catches up to me, and this happens over and over, I might just stay there and get the beating, because I've chosen the option to run away so much, and my mind and body register that option as, like, it's futile to run away. So I just have to stay there and handle the beating. And later on, I may, let's say I get back home, and there are more options for me at that point. I could tell my parents, I could tell my siblings, or whatever it is. And that's a way to handle the problem. And if doing that didn't work, then I have to figure out other ways to solve it. And if I cannot figure out any other way of solving it, I would just continue taking that beating. And then what happens is your mind and body will register that, and it will try to stay away from the situation from that point forward. So anytime from that moment forward, I get into a situation where there is a bully, and if the trauma is so great that if the pain was so great, then every time I get into a situation that triggers that pain, my whole body will go into its natural reaction that I had learned when I first had that trauma. And my body and mind may have learned to just stay and take the beating, or take the take the bullying. And you can see that how this can translate into other areas of your life as you grow up, because it's a trigger. This triggered this pain inside your body that was so great that it causes you to freeze or run away, right? So that's how the trauma works. Your body and your mind did not learn how to handle it any other way, and so that pain is so great that it just causes you to do this every time. Even if you go back and you reason it out when you're older, okay? When you're older, you let's say you're journaling and you reason this out, you're facing a similar situation maybe not a beating, but like someone's mentally bullying you, and it triggers this event, and you journal about it. Even if you work it out mentally, you will still get triggered, and when this happens, you most likely will handle it the same way, which is your body would freeze up or you will run away because you haven't worked out the emotional aspect, the pain aspect. The pain is still intense, and when your pain is intense and you face that that triggering situation, your mind, the part that does the reasoning, is going to shut down, because that part is way too slow for you to handle a situation that is meant for fight, flight, or freeze. Because remember, when you get triggered and the pain is that intense, it triggers that system that goes into fight, flight, or freeze mode. So even if you work it out logically, it's not going to help the situation. What you need to do is work it out emotionally as well. And depending on the severity of the pain, you may need to get someone professional to help guide you through it. And one way that you would do this is to, in a safe environment, recall the event so that it could trigger all of these emotions out of you. And then when you're doing that, when you're triggering that pain that comes back into your body, you have to accept it. You just have to let it go, wash through your body, and you have to keep on doing this until the intensity of that pain decreases every time. And another way to do this is to, in a safe way, face the let's say the bully, or face the person if you can overcome the fear of facing this pain, and you throw yourself into a situation that would trigger this event, then the pain will trigger again, okay? But this time, since you willingly do this, and you're overcoming that fear, not the pain, okay? You're overcoming that fear, and you throw yourself into this situation, and you willingly do this, the intensity of that pain will decrease. Because I'm not gonna get into this because there's a lot of details that I don't remember anymore. But when you willingly overcome this fear and face whatever pain that you're going to face, you become more aware and more accepting of the pain that comes, because you're in a way ready for it, right? Because you know it's going to come. And when you know it's going to come, you'll get into that situation, and your body and your mind somehow register it, and that pain will come, but it will come at a lower intensity. And as you do this more and more, the intensity decreases and decreases and decreases. And if you've done public speaking before and you practice this, you will understand what I'm talking about, because when you sometimes you need to do it because you need to pass a class, right? There's a goal for you to do this. You will willingly throw yourself into this pain. You will overcome that fear and throw yourself into the situation because you need that grade. Because that grade is more important to you than the fear and the pain that you're going to have to overcome. And so every time you practice this, it will the intensity of that pain will be less and less and less, and that's how you can overcome it. Let's see. I think that's all that I want to say about that right now. Nothing else comes to mind. So I hope that was helpful. this is how our mind and our body works. I hope I'm making that point clear. So accept that this is going to happen, and this is the mechanism that your mind and body uses to overcome life, pretty much. So understand it and use it to the best of your ability to advance in life, so that you can eventually feel less pain, less fear, and less suffering.